Okay, so now I want to talk about the numeric types, the int and the float. And before I do, so I have the code from the strings discussion here in the program, and I'm going to comment this out. I don't want to delete it. That's some nice code I want to hang on to, but I don't want to run that as I'm testing these other things. So you know, a comment is generally preceded by a pound sign or a hashtag, I guess we could call that in Python. But I don't want to have to do pound signs in front of each and every line of code here, so I can do a block comment, and that's easy. All you have to do is 3 apostrophes at the top, and then 3 apostrophes below. Okay, and it turns it green on you, and that's just, now it's just a comment. The code is still there in case I want to get it back, but it's not going to run, okay? So, in any case, let's talk about the numeric types. So we have the 2 numeric types. We have the int and the float. The int is for integers, okay? Whole numbers, 0, negative or positive, no fractional numbers, all right? So, for example, if I wanted to store the number of students in the class, let's say there were 23 students in this class. So I can create a variable called numStudents. I'm going to put a 23 in it. Do you notice how numeric data, or numeric literals, do not have quotes? Okay, that's different from the string, right? With the string, we put the strings in quotes, but numeric data do not go in quotes. So that's a numeric literal there, 23. It is what it is, literally 23, hard-coded into my program. Okay, so now I want to print out there are 23 students in the class. So this would be a common newbie mistake. They're like, well, okay, I can do that. There are 23 students in this class. Okay. And we go to run that. And the student's like, hey, great, it works perfectly. Let's move on. But the problem is, what if somebody drops the class and it goes down to 22? Okay. And then we still have 23 hard-coded into our output. You want to code it so that it's going to work with whatever's in there, okay? So there are multiple ways of doing this. You know, I'm not crazy about this way. So in this case, we have a mixture of hard-coded string data. There are X amount of students in this class. Like those hard-coded strings are still involved here, but the number itself comes from a variable. One way of doing it is to like splice it all together with commas. Okay, you can do this. I'm not a huge fan of this, but so you can just kind of splice it all together with commas. We'll run that. Oh, we're down to 22 students because one of them dropped. Okay, so you can see it works. Okay, one technique that I want to use in this class, and I guess now is as good a time as any to introduce it. It's called the F string. And this is great if you have a mixture of hard-coded string data, such as this, and then variable data that's coming from a variable. So I'm just going to do something like this. I have my hard-coded strings, but I put a placeholder here, okay? And so that's 2 curly braces. All right, and now I'm just going to drop the variable value into the placeholder, and it all falls into place very nicely. So that's called the F string. So you put a little F right before your quotes, and then you just, you know, code the string as you normally would, but put that placeholder where the variable value is going to go. Okay, and then you drop the variable name into the placeholder, and it'll work nicely. So let's do another one. Okay, this one, let's say we have 7.5 billion people on this earth. It may be even more than that. So as a human, I'm like, okay, well, let me type all these zeros. Okay, so that's what? Thousands, millions, billions. Okay, so that's 7.5 billion people. All right, sounds great. Let me do the F string technique. Okay, so there are that many people on this earth, and I'm going to run the program. Okay, that's not what I wanted. This is a problem. When you're typing a numeric literal, the computer likes raw, unformatted numbers. These commas here these commas are a crutch for us humans, okay? So it's for us humans to be able to interpret that number. The computer does not need these. The computer does numbers way better than we ever can, okay? That's its thing, okay? That's what it does best. So raw, unformatted numbers when you're coding, all right? So so what it did is it turned it into a different data type, which is totally not what we wanted. Okay, so that's not 7.5 billion. That's something else entirely that we're going to talk about in Chapter 3. So, so the raw unformatted number is what we need here. Okay, so I'm going to run that. So, okay, we're getting there. It looks a little better. At least we have a working number. I don't like the way that looks. Obviously, to a human, that's really hard for us to read that kind of number. So, what you can do, use the F-string technique. Here's a trick. I'm going to put a colon right here. That's a colon, and then I'm going to put a comma, and this means format this number, comma style. Meaning commas after every 3 digits or before every three digits, like, you know, in the thousands. So yeah, there you have it. So that's the integer. I think I'm going to end this video and then we'll do the float in the next video.